Wrap it up. You better wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
On the Monster.
To the show. It is Hip 26 with me, Rhea Rams, and joining me for today's Wrap It Up is none other than Singaporean artist Ron. What's up, Ron?
What's up? What's up? Hey, Rhea. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Also, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm so excited to have you. By the way, did you know that you are actually our first non-Filipino guest on this show?
Gosh, that's huge. That's amazing. It's an honor, deep honor. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ron. So why don't you tell us and all the monsters who are tuned in right now a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hello, monsters. Really nice to meet you. My name is Ron. I'm an actor, singer-songwriter. I write R&B pop music. I have an EP coming out this year, looking at July, August. 5 songs. The first song of the EP is out already, streaming everywhere, called Push and Pull, and it's about a toxic relationship. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, we'll get into that in just a little bit because I want to know more about that song, which we will be playing later on. But before we get to that, of course, let's talk about you. So you started as an actor, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what kind of acting did you do exactly?
Ooh, I did lots of acting. I think I started acting in the student films, short films. They weren't really paid, but I was super excited to sort of be on a film set with people, cameraman, crew, right? So I started when I was 14 in acting. I was just this little boy, this kid, and was like, oh my God, I just love to be on a set, right?
Right.
And I started doing lots of student projects, indie films, and that's how I sort of got my footing into acting. And then I guess the past couple of years, I've been doing sort of more corporate videos, some commercials for brands.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think it's cool that, you started out with acting, but you also did take this up for in school, right? You did take film or performance arts?
So I did a degree in musical theater in LaSalle College of the Arts for 3 years. So that's all I did: sing, act, dance, practically every day, right? So initially we didn't have too much of a film sort of module, but I think COVID happened halfway through, and we sort of naturally transitioned to doing more film stuff. We even filmed our musicals. We also wrote our little small mini musicals. So I guess that's how I got sort of more exposure being on screen, working with the camera, because it's quite different than being on stage. Yeah.
Right. Now, you said that you did take musical theater. Is this what opened your world to music, or have you been involved in music even before taking up musical theater in college?
Ooh, I think music is my first love. I've always loved it since I was a kid, right? And I think musical theater sort of came afterwards when I realized it was a good way to sort of balance acting and music at the same time, and dance and movement. So musical theater was a bit later on in my life, but in general, music has always been the one true love. As a kid, I always used to sing, and then I picked up guitar when I was 11 or 12 after listening to Taylor Swift, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get a guitar and write a song and try to chase a girl with a song. So yeah.
Okay, so you started music at around like early age, singing and everything, and then you picked up a guitar. You mentioned earlier that you said that you needed to start writing songs. So when was the first time you ever wrote a song? Doesn't have to be a great one, but when was the first time that you ever, and why? What made you decide to write that song?
Yeah, very good question. I think I was 14 or 15 in sort of about to go to high school actually, and I started a YouTube channel. I think it's still there. It's called Ronald Ethan Brown 6633, and basically I was just bored in afternoons after school, so I would just take the guitar, write a song, post it on YouTube, and then hopefully people share it. And I think I got a couple of thousand views for those those videos of me playing the guitar. I think that's how I started, and then I just fell in love with songwriting, and I've grown since then. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you did. You said that you started writing at 14, 15. I'm pretty sure that the content of your songs has changed greatly since then. Now, when would you said, I know that you released two singles prior to this one, this first single coming out of the EP. Why don't we talk about those two songs? What was the first one called?
Ooh, I think the first one was called Forever. Oh wait, no. My very first song I ever wrote was Forever, but the very first song I released was Can't Get You Off My Head that came out exactly about 1 year ago. And I wrote it about an ex that I sort of unfortunately had to end a relationship, right? And then it's one of those things where I realized that, hey, you love someone, and when you're with them, you kind of enjoy spending time, and then after some time you realize that, like, oh, two people might not necessarily fit in the equation, right? So I wrote that song about half a year afterwards, sort of just documenting, just missing her a lot. And so yeah, that's why I wrote that song. Yeah. Ooh, is it still on air? Ooh, now I'm wondering if it's still on air, because if it is on air, hello everybody. This is quite an interesting situation that has happened. um I'm checking to see if it's live. Ooh, it is still live. I think it is still live. Okay, wait. Not really sure if I should get off the air until the Ria comes back. But hey, everyone. Yeah.
Hi guys, we are back. We are just we had some Wi-Fi issues right now. We had some Wi-Fi issues. Ron will be back in just a little bit. Um, we are gonna proceed once Ron comes back. We are so my apologies for the Wi-Fi, but we are going to get back to the interview as soon as Ron is back here on in the room. I'm so sorry, monsters. Don't forget, you are here with us here on Hip 26. Right now, we are doing some wrap it up on the monster. Here we got fun. We are
Yeah.
on air. We will be back on air in just a little bit. So for you monsters who want to tune in, make sure to go check us out at RX931. And of course, if you guys have any questions for Ron, go ahead and send them in here in the comment section or on YouTube, on Twitch, anywhere. You can also send them to us at RX931 over on Twitter or on Instagram. But right now, let's get back to some wrap it up. Ready, monsters? Let's go.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
What's up, monsters? We're back on air, and of course on our Facebook and YouTube and Twitch live. Welcome back to Wrap It Up. It's me, Rhea Rams, keeping you company all the way until 3 p.m. And of course, joining me today for Wrap It Up is none other than Ron. Apologies, Ron,
No
for
worries.
internet. Man, this is the difficulty, isn't it? But anyway,
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about your first single, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were mentioning that you wrote it about your ex that you unfortunately had to end things with, and that's when I got
Yeah.
cut off. So you
Yes.
can
Yes.
continue from there.
Sure. I'll pick it right up from where we stopped. Yes. So the song is called "Can't Get You Off My Head," and that's because I realized that like I was still in love with her even after we broke up. And I wrote the song literally in my bedroom in the middle of the night because I was just like. I was drinking a little bit. I was like, "Oh my god, I really miss her," you know. And it's one of those things where you're like, "Did I make a mistake by sort of ending things?" You know. So I think it's one of those kind of songs where you just think about like, oh, how would life be if like I was still with her or with a special someone? Yeah.
Oh man. But I know your style in songs, your style changed. So initially, what kind of style or what genre would you say your music would fall under
Yes.
in that time of your life?
I would say that time of my life was lots of lo-fi music. I was quite inspired by Jason Mraz, so I was writing a lot of
Okay.
like rhymey things and groovy things, right? So I think my initial sort of sound was that, and then I guess I fell in love with The Weeknd and how he created a whole
Mm,
world
right.
with his music and just the visuals, the sound, right? So I'm a big R&B fan, and that's why I wrote this EP. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So from lo-fi, you shifted your music style
Hmm.
to somewhat R&B, right? Now,
Yes.
would you say that this style is more speaks more of who you are?
Hmm. That's a very interesting question, actually, because I'm a Gemini and I have two sides. So I have my very like sociable side and I have my super introverted side.
Right.
Uh, I think what's scary and interesting about this EP is that it's showing the other side that people don't normally see me as. Most of my friends or family know me as Ron, who's like, "Oh hey, I will come say hi. You know, I'm friendly and nice." Sort of the boy next door, right? But for
Right.
this new EP, I think I wanted to talk about deeper things, darker things, and some of the experiences just growing up and finding a sort of self identity.
Right.
And I wanted to sort of write about those in the EP. That's why Push and Pull is sort of slightly darker themed than my other releases before. Yeah.
Right. So, from what you're saying, I'm getting that when you write your music, you come from a very personal place. When
Yes.
you
Yes.
write your lyrics and just all your music,
Hmm.
what is your process in doing so?
Mm. I think it's always evolving and changing all the time. But I think for me, how I know a song is good is if let's say I come up with a chord progression, or like I like a beat that I keep on looping it, right? And how I mean, so all the five songs of this EP, the chorus is always written first, and I always write a hook first. So I think for any songs, like the hook has to come first. And once I'm like, oh my god, like this is a good line, or that's a good melody, and I stick to it, and then I just build the song from there. That's kind of how my songwriting process is for now. But yes, I think always have a good hook, a good title, and sort of a good theme. Yeah.
Okay, that's also good advice for for all the aspiring or like up and coming songwriters out there. I think you guys could
Yeah.
take this advice and apply it eventually. But you know what I find really interesting is that you took musical theater, right,
Yes.
for school. And musical theater is a very, I would say, like, you need a full voice. You need to really express and everything. But with
Mhm.
R&B, it's a little more chill and it's more mellow as compared to musical theater, right? The
Yes.
difference is huge. So
Mhm.
how do you take the shift from musical theater to writing R&B?
Yes. Okay, so definitely, I think in school, musical theater me is like one version of me, and R&B music me is the other version. So I mean, when I was in musical theater, quite a couple of times, my sort of lecturers or directors have looked at me and be like, "Hey, Ron, you've got a good voice, but like maybe belt a little bit more, or like the style of singing is like different, right?" So
Right,
I think my background is in pop music first before musical theater, so that was interesting to sort of
right.
navigate. And so then it was interesting because when I recorded the EP, I was also studying musical theater in school, but then I was recording the EP at night after school, right? So when I was in the studio, my producer would be like, "Hey, Ron, maybe you want to not like sing too loudly, or sort of like make like more like softer sounds, so like like ASMR kind of like sounds,
Right,
and I would like whisper into the microphone, and those are things that you wouldn't do it on stage when doing
right.
music. Right? So it was quite interesting to navigate both, but it was fun. It was good fun. I loved school. School was great. And I think school and just music, they both just sort of complement each other. They help me sort of work on my craft as a performer in general. Yeah.
Do you think, like, I find it interesting how you told us about all the things that you needed to change or adjust because the styles were so different. But do you think
Mhm.
there's anything that you were able to apply to either, like,
Mhm.
anything that you learned from musical theater that you were able to apply to your own EP, or anything that you learned from making your own EP that you were able to apply to school? Is there
Yes.
anything there?
A very good question. I think musical theater is about storytelling first, and I think I really took that away from my course and bringing it into pop music also, because pop music can be a little bit too general sometimes, So like it's like Taylor, right? Like when Taylor released her albums, like they're all like storytelling kind of songs, and
Right,
I think that kind of inspired me to sort of be more like storytelling wise in terms of my pop music, right? Not commercial
right,
kind of music. So I think there's that. But yeah, I guess pop music wise, I think just bring your personality into a role when you play on stage, right? So yeah, yeah, I think that's how I sort of make sure like both worlds kind of gel together.
right.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be so interesting. I we're definitely gonna see it in the lyrics and in the way that you wrote your song that we will be playing in a little bit. Very exciting stuff.
Thank
But
you.
before we get into that,
Mhm.
if for all those monsters who haven't actually heard you yet,
Mhm.
what how would you describe your music now?
Ooh, um, I would say sultry, kind of sexy-ish. Something you would listen at night. The entire EP was mapped out to be listened at night. So, if
Hmm,
you're a night owl, you like sort of music like that, I think you would enjoy the EP. Yeah. So I would say sort of nighttime listening, a little bit of dancey, like some drinks, and if you're feeling it, check out the EP. Yeah, but I would say I'm inspired by The Weeknd, Buzzy, Troy Sivan. So if you like those artists, I
ooh,
think
okay.
you should listen to my music. Yeah.
All right, perfect. That's amazing. And if there's any artist at all that you could collaborate with, like anyone at all, who would you want to collaborate with?
Oh God, that's a huge question. Um, I would still say The Weeknd. I think Abel is a huge visionary, and he doesn't just write music, right? So all his music videos and everything he does is very aligned, and I just love how he presents himself. Like every album cycle, he changes like something, so you kind of
Right.
follow like his character, right? And now with his new album Dawn FM, it's yeah, it's like different, right? So he always changes the game. So I would say The Weeknd, or if not Drake, or if not, yeah, any Filipino artist in
Wow.
general. Like,
Yeah.
I'm super ready to collaborate. I think it's a good time for creatives, artists, right? So anybody who wants to collaborate, I'm totally down. Hit me up on social media, Spotify, anywhere. Just I will get back to you. I will DM right back. So literally anybody in the world.
I love that. I love that. So, to all the artists here in the Philippines, go reach out to Ron. We'll tell you guys his socials in just a little bit. But now it is time for us, of course, to talk about your song Push and Pull. It's part of a 5 song EP. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Now, you did mention that the theme of this EP is a little more dark and it's
Hmm.
more personal to you. Now, why don't we talk about Push and Pull? You did mention it's about toxic love. So, why don't you tell us the story behind this song and a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I think Push and Pull is about a past relationship that I had with someone, and I think it's one of those situations where, like, you fall head over heels over someone, and they seem like your entire world, and for a good 6 months, right, your whole life makes sense with that person. And I think Push and Pull is interesting because after I ended the relationship, lots of friends came up to me and say, "Hey, actually, that relationship was quite toxic. Like she was kind of stopping you from meeting friends, or stopping you from socializing with people, right? And she was just a little bit possessive." So I think Push and Pull sort of documents that, being in that situation of like sort of being in love with somebody but feeling caged and sort of trapped in that situation. I think quite a lot of people have gone through it. Unfortunately, I mean, I've heard friends talk about it, right? So Push and Pull is sort of about being in that stuck kind of situation. Yeah, yeah,
This is definitely going to be a song that a lot of people can relate to, but I'm sure that they will also get value out of it.
yeah.
I'm sure it will teach them something as well, right? Now, would you say that you did mention that this is a 5 part EP and this is the first song that you are releasing in this EP? Would you say that all the songs in that EP are based on your personal experiences, or based on um, or have the same dark theme, like toxic
Yes, yes.
love? What else could you tell us about this EP? We know that you haven't released it all yet, but what else can you tell us so that you can hype us up for it?
Yes, for sure. I well, the next single is called "Anxious," and it's about having anxiety in a relationship, or just So that comes out in early March, and then we also have the 3 other songs, but they're also all like talking about just I guess online dating and being on dating apps, right? Or like meeting people and stuff like that. So I think the entire EP is just about being in the early 20s and being confused about who you are, and trying to find yourself in like weird places. And I think that was my experience sort of over the past couple of years. So I think the EP is a great sort of representation of like, oh, I'm trying to figure out myself in the dark, and making mistakes and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so that's what the Anxious EP would sort of be about. Yeah.
That's gonna be so exciting. I honestly can't wait, and I can't wait for the monsters to hear this song in particular, Push and Pull, which we will be playing in a little bit. But before we get to the song, why don't you tell us where we can stay updated on you? If you Where can we find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me on social media, Instagram, Ronald Go underscore, like RONALDGOH underscore, or I'm on TikTok, Ron Music 95. I don't have many followers, but I post content frequently. If you are into like comedy stuff, or into music stuff, all of it is right there. If not, you can stream my music on all the streaming platforms, so Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, Spotify. So yeah, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, and I'll send you a text right back.
Oh yeah. If you guys want to collaborate with Ron, if you think your
Mm.
styles match up, go hit him up. And of course, if you want to stay updated on his EP, which is super exciting, make sure to follow him again. That's on Instagram. That's at Ronald Goh. So
Yes.
Ronald Goh underscore on
Sure. Yes.
Instagram. And of course, he is on all streaming platforms as well. Go check him out. That's Ron RON. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It'll be a lot of fun now. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to before we play your song?
Oh yes. I want to give a shout out to my family for supporting me on this journey. It hasn't been easy, but thank you. My friends who have stuck by me, Fion, Andrea, they've been there all the way through, and just listeners in general, monsters. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time listening to me talking and my music. Yeah, looking forward to get to know everybody, and enjoy push and pull.
All right, here we have it. Now it is time for us to play Push and Pull by Ron at 1:47 in the afternoon time. And this next song is brought to you by Beko European Home Appliances, Live Like a Pro, and Ginto Ibang Ginto. Once again, here is Ron for the first time on the Monster. Here's Push and Pull right here on Hip 26 on Manila's hottest Monster RX 93.1.
Woo!
Wrap it up. You better wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
On the Monster.